Hi Aries, it's Elizabeth Bratcher, Psychic Medium, and I'm here to do your weekly read for the 26th of July till the 1st of August. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch the video today. I do appreciate you being here. I also appreciate if you want to subscribe to the channel. I do daily reads and live feeds as well each week. Also a thumbs up, and I do reply to all the comments that you guys leave. So I'm doing a full spread with my own deck, which is the Elizacle, and then have, of course, my Sun and Moon Tarot, which I'll pull you some cards for afterwards. So for those of you that are just joining me this week, from previous weeks, I have changed slightly the way that I do the weekly reads, but I'm sure that you will enjoy them. So what I'm going to do is pull you a full spread from my cards, okay, and that's going to focus on specifics, but it's also going to focus on the energy of what it is that you need to know most this week, okay? So I'm just going to begin by pulling 3 randomly, and then I'll pull the full spread behind it. Okay, nice. So you've got improvements, change of luck, and take 5 as your randoms. So let's have a little bit of a look and see what's a week ahead for the week for you, Aries. All right, beautiful. So as I said, you've got the improvements card, which talks about self and situations and improvements coming around, and you've got the change of luck, the card that follows that straight after, which talks about energies wanting to shift, okay? And I'm feeling this on a grand scale. I'm feeling like for those of you, and just remember, guys, that I am reading for a few of you, so if it doesn't resonate, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But what I want to say to you, like when I talk about it being on a grand scale, I feel like for some of you, you've been waiting for this shift. It's like, oh, finally, you know, I get to breathe again. And so for some of you, this is going to be reprieve around work and family relationships. For others of you, it's just going to be about kicking butt and, you know, achieving those goals and things like that. There's also a business energy that comes through with this as well. I feel like, you know, finally getting to get that business started, things falling into place and allowing that to actually happen. So there's a really nice positive energy that sort of wants to push through this week, okay? So you've got the take 5 card that follows straight after all of that energy. And so what I want to say with that, it's about regrouping, it's about recuperating, and it's about rest, but it's also about being mindful. Okay, and being mindful is just about, you know, being more than just aware, being mindful, all right? So the bigger picture card comes in after that, and the moving on card, okay? Which is, as well, as I said, there's a lot of energy here that's just like moving you forward beyond the moments that are here right now, long term, okay? Beyond moments in self, and you've got the moving on card, which talks about moving on towards better things. Just have a little bit of patience, okay? Have a little bit of patience. It's, I don't want to say that I'm feeling delays around, okay? But for some of you that's there because you're ready to run, you want to just, you want to run, okay? It's, though, think about when you're running like a 10-kilometer race, because, you know, I do that all the time, but, you know, if you leave that gate and you give it all you got, you're going to lose your energy a couple of kilometers into the race, and there's very little likelihood you're going to win. It's about having endurance and, you know, pacing yourself out and leaving that energy burst for when it actually needs to be there, okay? So just keep that kind of in mind as the way that things are moving, because you do have that bigger picture card that's there, okay? And so things that are falling into place are doing so for long term, not just for instant gratification, okay? Now you've got the crossroads card, which talks about this decisions and choices and direction, okay? And for some of you, it's going to be just grabbing onto what I've just spoken about this week, which is why you've got the crossroads that are sitting there. Okay, but for others of you, I am actually quite drawn to relationships, okay? So what I'm feeling around this is a crossroads, a decision. You've also got the detox card that sits there right next to it, okay? So it's talking about needing to release something. And the thing around the energy, when I made the detox card that's there, is it's a volcano and it's exploding, you know? And we know that volcanoes don't just decide one day they're going to go, oh yeah, I feel like exploding today. Whoop. You know, it's a build-up of energy. Behind, till it gets to a point where that pressure is so intense it's just got to explode. Okay, and there's a lot of energy in this card that's there. So be really mindful, because there's a warning almost in that we need to sit in the energy and make a decision and a choice that's going to be best for us, because otherwise it's there, okay? And not to also be afraid to go through the hard yards and to take on the challenge of doing that detox, you know, if that's what needs to be. Yeah, okay, so it's also, all right, so for some of you as well, this is, you guys are resonating to this on health, okay? That's what I'm being shown as well. For some of you, especially when I talk about that's been coming for a long time, energy that's there, I really start to feel that energy, and my guides are kind of asking me to split this and not split it away from relationships, but to also, put it there as well. All right, so much energy comes in at the same time. So taking a moment, gratitude and rest will be needed, okay? And that's that thing around it as well. You know, gratitude is such a beautiful thing because when we are going through challenges, if we can take some moments to find things that are beautiful around us and make us feel good, it does just that. It makes us feel good, okay? But it's good. Like, you've got the joy card that comes in, and then you've got the being positive card. You do have the confronting fears card that's here, okay? But you know what? Even in improvements, even in beautiful shifts of energy that takes us to wonderful places, it can still rouse fears of nervousness and self-doubt and all of those kind of little bits and pieces. You know what I mean? So just be aware of that. You're going to have opportunities to confront some fears this week, okay? But I feel like I want to tackle them, you know what I mean? I'm feeling good, I'm feeling invigorated about this, all right? So what you especially just need to know for yourself, you've got the support card that's there, okay? And one of the beautiful energies that's come out since I've made this card is that not only just talks about the fact you're not alone and you've got support, but it also talks about the fact that there are some people in your life that have got your back, okay? They have got your back, and you do know this. So use that love and that support to its benefit this week, okay? Staying connected to yourself is always really important when there's beautiful growth and when there's challenges and things like that. It's just about, you know, like we're talking about, you know, with that confront fears energy that's there. It's just about staying connected with yourself, because that's going to give you that ability and to be positive, to keep a really good attitude as well. Okay, heartache, challenging matters of the heart. And as I said, for some of you here, this energy is to do with relationships, okay? So just be mindful of what we spoke about, okay? And guys, you've also pulled the female card. Now, what this card talks about, whether you're a male or a female, okay, is that the energy and the changes that you want to see, especially the more challenging ones when we've been waiting for external things or people to shift, aren't going to. We have to create that power. The energy has to come from within, okay? Waiting for others or things to fall into place to gratify our needs is fine, because I get that, you know, we do have to wait for things to fall into place and things like that. But what this card talks about, though, is that you don't sit back and just wait. Reach out and grab them, okay? Reach out and grab them. And that, you know, especially when it comes to people, waiting for them to change, to kind of accept that that's not necessarily going to happen, and you're going to have to instigate the changes that you want to see around you, okay? So just keep that energy in mind. All right, so guys, I want to pull you now just a couple of cards from the tarot. And as always, I've given the cards a good shuffle before I start. I'm not when you sit and have a reading with me one-on-one, I'm not a card reader. I'm an energy worker, and I work with spirit. So if you're wondering why I can't shuffle for shit, that's why. The videos and the cards are a beautiful combination, but yes, when we work one-on-one, it's more just energy. So if you're wondering why I'm not an expert shuffler after so many readings, that is why. All right, energy for the week. 3 of Swords. Yeah, okay. Let's have a look. Okay, all right, Aries. So as I said, okay, your energy for the week is the 3 of Swords, all right, which does sort of indicate there's a possibility of some broken heart feelings coming in for those of you that was applying to with the relationships, okay? But for some of you as well, it is just about making choices. You know, a little bit of frustration, I guess, in that energy, but there is this, as I said, there's this ginormous, you know, things falling into place, and when things fall into place and when we start to be able to move forward, sometimes we need to let go of some things, okay? So there may be a little bit of heartfelt sort of energy within that as well. Now, for some of you as well, that card does give me an indication of being ready and getting ready to move on from one job to another, okay? And having a little bit of heartfelt energy around that as well. For some of you, that's kind of a suspect... What's the word? Suspection? That's not a word, is it? You just suspect. Suspection. That's not a word. You've got the 2 of Swords here. What I'm trying to say is that the energy that's around with this card is that, you know, she's holding the swords up and she's blindfolded, but she's holding the swords. So what she needs to actually do is take those swords down in her defense and take off the blindfold, and she's going to be able to see. Okay, and so there's a lot of energy in that this week, okay, guys, that it is time to kind of take that blindfold off and see everything that's around you. One, because there's some beautiful opportunity that's sitting there in front of you, but for others of you, as I said, especially when it's relating to that 3 of Swords energy, that it is time to actually start to move on and to see the truth for what it is, okay? And, you know, take that in a positive energy too, in a general context, because when we take that blindfold off, for some of you that, you know, perhaps are delaying and making a few little changes that you want to and things like that, that's a really beautiful energy that's sitting there in the first of the spread, okay? So even if you're not at that point where you're seeing the positive energies that wanting to sort of swim through, if you take an opportunity to drop your defenses and take your blindfold off this week, okay, you can actually start to see them. And so I really encourage you just to sit in your own self-truth a lot this week, all right? You've also got the Ace of Swords that's there, all right? So as I said, there is a lot of beautiful beginnings that are there, but some of them may have come off with some challenges, okay? So that's all good because you've got the Emperor energy as well that talks about stability being there, stability coming in, you know, security, all of that beautiful energy, all right? So Aries, for you, what I want to say, yeah, okay, so work sitting fairly steady, as I said, apart from where we talked about. I feel like some of you are going to be ready or needing to know that you're going to be ready to go and to make a shift over with your work. I do feel like this is a new workplace as opposed to promotions and things like that I'm talking about, okay? Everything else around work feels solid as far as like what you've got is what you can expect this week, okay? So if that's a negative, very much take mind of that Two of Swords energy that's there because there may be something in that they're trying to show you as well. Okay, relationships is as I've already spoken about, okay? You've got the Two of Cups energy that sits there as well. So just, you know, walk with truth, walk with honour as far as what we spoke about because there's definitely a challenge for some of you within that, okay? Yes, good, okay. Be mindful of health because there is a lot of energy surging about. There's no particular warning within all of that. It's just an immune one. All right, guys, that is what I have for you. Beautiful Aries. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me this week. As I said, I do appreciate the time that you've taken to watch me today. And so give us a thumbs up and a comment on the video. It's always appreciated. I am here for the daily reads and also Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time for New South Wales. You'll find me doing the live feeds here and on Facebook, Elizabeth Bratcher, Psychic Medium. Much love, guys. Look forward to seeing you when I see you. And until then, take care, be good. And if you can't be good at it.